Alright, what's up everybody? We're talking about the Valli60 today. Let's get into it. Alright, to get out of the way, this video is sponsored. I appreciate it, Ab. Thank you for sponsoring the video. We'll be giving this away. My opinions are always my own. No cap, dude. I don't fake. If something is not so good, I'll say it's not so good. If it's great, I'll say it's great. So the Valli60 is this interesting like Franken keyboard. There's an aluminum casing, right? The top you can swap. So right now I have a standard top. You can actually change it to an HHKB and a wind keyless if you want, without having to buy another aluminum case. This Lego-like design saves cost because aluminum is what's expensive. Carbon fiber, polycarbonate on those top pieces are much cheaper. The back that we're using here is also polycarbonate, which is a really interesting design because it reduces hollowness. Although this looks a little funky with the carbon fiber top, the black aluminum case and the polycarbonate bottom actually performs very well in the sound and feel department. But the weird thing about this thing is, how do I say, the plate, it's like a wet noodle, bro. How do I know what a wet noodle looks like? I cooked spaghetti, all right? The plate has so many flex cuts. I'll show the images on the screen, and it's remarkable that it even functions. Honestly, I was very scared when I put this together, but it works, and it actually works really well. Normally when there's a plate with a lot of flex cuts, I'm concerned that the sound is gonna be very muted. Not the case here. But it actually sounds really good. Like, what the hell, dude? This is a gasket mounted keyboard, forgot to mention gasket mounts. There is Leafspring plate design, but when it's gasketed all the way across, I don't know if it makes a big difference. It just feels like a gasket mount plate here. Bro, listen to that spacebar. It sounds really good. Having the flexible plate actually worked out well here. Unfortunately, I wasn't given the proper PCB for this, so I can't actually type on this thing. It's compatible with any 6% PCB, but unfortunately I was set an ISO one, but the plate wasn't ISO. There's limited compatibility with the plate due to the flex cut design because you can't just leave flex cuts and a big opening, it just won't work. So unfortunately, this doesn't actually type. We can still review the sound, feel, acoustics. So the aesthetic, it looks kind of homemade. There's these nipple bump-ons, which are my least favorite thing. Nips, not these. This was a design used in a lot more affordable boards. It feels a little bit weird to use them today, but still, the price is really fair. But we'll get to that. The aesthetic is customizable, that's a plus. But once it's kind of like frankened together, I don't know if the design language is very congruent. One of my least favorite things is the fact that the top is a drop-in. So there's no screws holding the top in. You have to just push it in. It doesn't feel great to grind materials against each other. So the carbon fiber top had to be forced into the aluminum case. The board has a typing angle of 7 degrees, so it's a little bit more steep than the other boards. 7 degrees is my upper limit as to the comfortable typing experience. And in terms of what comes in with the package, you got your case foam, your PCB foam. You can buy extra tops and bottoms, so you can really customize and change it to your heart's desire for the aesthetic. You're not stuck with just one layout, which is cool. It also comes in with a nice little case, so you don't have to buy another case. It's always a nice value add when the designer includes a case. It doesn't cost too much, but it feels good for the buyer. Now, we talked about the aesthetic, right? The assembly process is a little rough due to all the parts, but you can figure it out. Like I said, the pushing in assembly of it, I don't really love, but let's talk about the sound and feel. This is a very flexible board, obviously. You can tell from all the flex cuts. The sound is so freaking good for something that is like one step up of a stacked acrylic keyboard. Other creators did have issues with bottoming out and shorting the keyboard. So that may be an issue depending on what kind of PCB you use. It just sounds really good for the board at this price. I intentionally didn't mention the price up until this point. The Valli60 with one top and one bottom is $159 USD shipped. That includes PCB, that includes plate, that includes top, aluminum case, and the bottom, $159. That's so cheap. Like, I really love the fact that the boards are getting more affordable. We don't have to spend more than $200 for something that sounds, feels good. This is not my cup of tea in terms of aesthetic, especially due to these nips, but the polycarbonate bottom, and you can get a polycarbonate top. You can show a lot of the RGB if you use an RGB PCB. So honestly, it's a pretty good option. If you don't really care about aesthetic as much, just want some RGB, you want great sound and feel, I dig it. So who is this board for? We always gotta mention that, right? Beginner board, of course. The package is really intended for someone getting into the hobby. With the compatibility of the 6% PCBs, you can do a hot swap PCB. The flex cuts may make it a little difficult for hot swap, so I would probably recommend a solder PCB. My final thoughts, honestly, it's just surprising that it sounds and feels so good considering how it looks and how it assembles. I really like testing new things. I don't like having misconceptions about keyboards before getting them in hand. And this is a surprisingly good sounding and feeling keyboard. It looks a little bit to be desired, but hey, that's just one person's opinion. You may love it. You may love the compatibility. You may love being able to assemble it like Legos. Thank you for listening to the review. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.